All right, wanted to make a video here on Tesla because it just ridiculous. Now I know that there are a lot of videos on Tesla out there, so I'll try and keep it brief. Just kind of give my opinion here on Tesla. But crazy movement. I started here on the weekly chart just because it's comical just to even look at the chart. Um, Ever since last June, it is just looking like this parabolic to literally a vertical straight line to the upside here on Tesla's price. And it's just one thing after another, just rocketing this price. I'm honestly surprised we didn't make it to $1,000. Maybe people were a little bit leery that maybe got in around 500. So they were like, you know what, maybe I'll just try and sell it a little bit short of 1,000 so that I make sure I get these profits in. But nonetheless, Tesla has just been on an absolute tear, ripping up. It just seems like it's up 10% every day, and it's just crazy. So where are we going to see this come back down? Well, looking at the chart, you can see on the hourly here. You can see that we had this pretty fine line just for a few days around $650 a share. And then we finally broke above it. And that is what led to the next couple of days rallying up to our highs, and since we have pulled back. So I think this is pretty important to identify and look at as we move forward, as the price is still pretty volatile. This morning we opened up, I think we were down close to about 8%, and then we rallied up 13% from there. So we were up like 3 or 4% on the day, and then we closed around 2% on the day. But that's just to say that this is still very volatile. We had these two massive days back to back, 20% gainers. And then right towards the end of, I believe, yeah, this was Tuesday, we started to see some shakiness here right near the close. I'll actually show that up. I was watching the close just to see, how close Tesla was going to get to that $1,000 mark. Okay, I guess I can't go back that far. But anyway, the close was very weak for Tesla. Here you can see it on the 15-minute chart. And we shed a good bit, about 8% in the span of 10 to 15 minutes. And that was kind of like a first signal that, hey, maybe this thing is going to start coming down, because it has just been stupid how quickly the price of this thing went up. I think there was a lot of foolish money that threw their money in there. On Tuesday, actually, when I had mentioned something to my friends that Tesla was up another 20%, they said, yeah, I was looking at buying some Tesla stock. And that's when I knew that it was probably about time for it to come back down, when I was hearing about average people who really hadn't looked into the market. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but when you start to hear that and people are just kind of wanting to jump onto the train, that's kind of like a little sign that, hey, yeah, this thing's getting a little bit out of hand. Can it still keep going up? Yeah. If people want to chunk their money into it, yeah, it'll keep going up. But I think this is a lot of foolish money and a lot of shorts. This is a heavily shorted stock, so a lot of shorts that we're trying to cover. So literally, the shorts were making this thing run up, a short squeeze. Nonetheless, we saw a pretty rough close on Tuesday. And then moving into Wednesday, we saw this thing dip down close to the $700 price point, and then we climbed back up a little bit around 740. This morning, we actually opened below $700, and that's what I was mentioning. And then we saw this nice strong rally back up. I think it was about a 13% rally from these morning lows. Yeah, 12.5 to 13% rally up, and then we kind of fizzled off towards the end of the day. So maybe people were thinking, okay, this is a good deal. We've retraced down a good bit, because now off the highs, it's about 27%, 27, 28% off these highs, around $970 a share. So maybe people were thinking, okay, I'm going to buy in early, catch a nice little swing, get in and out pretty quick. And that very well could have happened. It could be, an opposite case where they bought in thinking, okay, this thing's going to go back up to 970. Personally, I don't think that is true, at least here in the short term. But, with that $7,000 price point that was thrown out there by, I believe it was ARK, that's pretty absurd. $7,000 by 2024, I believe it was. So who knows? This thing could keep going up. I personally do not have any shares. I'm just trying to keep this relatively unbiased, but it does look as if this was a monster short squeeze along with some fuel from some dumb money. There were a lot of headlines about Tesla. And it might not even be dumb money. If you put in money into this, say down here around $400 or $500, you're honestly kind of smart because you were able to. It's the same thing as like Bitcoin, the run that they saw back in 2017. It's along the same lines. Where it's almost that FOMO, like, oh, well, I might as well just throw some money in there, and I mean, the thing just keeps going up. How can I lose? Well, if you got caught, say at 850, $900 a share, well, that could be a pretty big loss depending on how much money you put in. But nonetheless, looking how we sit right now, it looks as if we move into Friday. If people are still a little bit leery of holding over the weekend, we could see further declines. I would really want to see this $700 price point hold up as it did this morning. As we saw that nice rally, again, we faded back down as we neared $800 a share, and then we faded back down. So I would want to see that fade kind of settle and hopefully make a higher low in comparison to the 700 or $687 low back here. I'd want to see a higher low to show nice signs of consolidation and potential to move back up. But if we do continue to move lower, we continue to see the PPO crossover and the RSI continue to go down, and we break through that $700 price point, we could quickly get to 650. This was really just like a gap up from 650 up here to the low 700s, and then we just continued to rock it from there. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we were to end up down here at 650 with a volatile Friday, or even moving into next week. And then from there, again, it's really just these gaps where Tesla just made this big skyrocket. So we would set a high, we would trade for a certain amount of days, and then we would pop above it. So just some things to look for. And then, keep in the back of your mind, like, is this necessarily the amount of risk that you want to take on right now? Do you fully understand it? I don't fully understand this run, and I don't necessarily agree with this valuation, even at $740 a share. That's why I'm personally not trading this. I wish I would have shorted it as we got close to 1,000. That was a very quick and steep drop off, but I mean, you can say that all the time. Maybe you wanted to short it at 700 and you got absolutely cooked. I mean, you can read all the articles of all the people that have lost tons of money trying to short this stock, and it just goes higher and higher and higher. So just things you have to be careful of. But as far as your price points go, if you're wanting this to turn into a good scenario to potentially move to the upside, let's see it set in a lower or a higher low, consolidate some and show signs of momentum. You want to start to see some of these moving averages level off, and then start to push higher back above $800 a share. On the flip side, if you think this is going to continue moving lower, let's see it make a lower low, break down below some of these moving averages. You can see here on like the 4-hour, if we start to break down below the 50-day moving average, we could see us down here around 650, and that's going to line up with roughly the 100-day moving average. You can look at different time frames and get different opinions, but just overall, you want to be pretty confident with Tesla and have a good plan in place if you're going to trade it, just with how much volatility is in trading Tesla at the moment. So hope this video gave you guys some sort of insight, or this is really just my opinion talking through it, but maybe helped you to set up a little bit of a trading idea, or you just enjoyed watching it. So thank you guys for watching.